Alright, so I'm back, and as usual, I'm going to be recommending slash reviewing 3 animes for you guys to watch, and I try to mix up the genres here and there just in case you're into different genres. But yeah, before we get on with the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's get on with the recommendations. The first anime I'm going to recommend is Kaguya-sama Love is War. This anime is about 2 elite high school geniuses, Kaguya and Miyuki, who are secretly in love with each other but are way too prideful to admit it, so instead of just confessing like normal people, they turn their feelings into constant psychological battles where each of them tries to outsmart and manipulate the other into being the one who confesses first because they believe whoever confesses loses. And throughout the series, they create all kinds of ridiculous mind games and overthink the smallest interactions like texting, invitation, and even casual conversations, while other characters like Chika, for instance, unintentionally mess up their plans and make everything more chaotic. And even though it's mostly a comedy full of dramatic internal monologues and exaggerated battle scenarios, underneath it all, the story is really about 2 people slowly learning to drop their pride and to be honest about their feelings and grow emotionally as they get closer to each other. So I would say if you like anime like Spy X Family, for instance, then you would probably very much like this one as well. It sort of has that similar vibe. It's not quite like a slice of life. It is a romance anime, but it's not like a romance with action or like romance with supernatural or something like that. It really has like that good mix of like school life but then also romance life, but it is done correctly. It's not just a copy and paste series. This series itself does pretty much have like a cult following at this point. It is highly regarded pretty well. I would be surprised if you watch anime regularly and you haven't at least heard of this anime or watched it before, but just in case you haven't, yeah, I would definitely recommend this series. The next anime I'm going to recommend is Tokyo Magnitude 8.0. This is an anime about a teenage girl who starts off kind of ungrateful and annoyed with her life, especially when she's forced to go on a trip to Tokyo with her little brother, but everything changes when a massive earthquake suddenly hits and completely destroys the city around them, leaving the 2 of them stranded far from home with no way to contact their parents. And as they try to make their way back, they meet an older woman who's also trying to reunite with her family and decides to help them. And together they travel throughout a broken, dangerous Tokyo where buildings collapse, roads are destroyed, and people are struggling to survive, dealing with things like aftershocks, lack of food and water, and the fear of not knowing what's next, while also seeing both the kindness and panic in others during such disaster. And throughout this journey, the older sister is forced to grow up quickly as she takes responsibility for her brother and starts to realize how much her family really means to her. This anime is really interesting because I actually feel like this sort of scenario, like a disaster story, isn't really that common in anime. I really feel like this is the type of series where it would actually be like real, like a live action, like it wouldn't be animated. This is like one of those series where I actually feel like they took the concept of something that is usually like done with real people in Hollywood and stuff like that, and they legitimately changed it into like an anime. And it's not even an anime movie, which is surprising. This is actually a series, and it is, I would say, enjoyable to watch if you are into those type of things. It is definitely emotional as well, so be prepared for that. But yeah, I would recommend this series. The final anime I'm going to recommend is The World God Only Knows. This is an anime about a high school guy who is basically a genius when it comes to dating games. Like, he can make any girl in a video game fall in love with him perfectly. But in real life, he has absolutely zero interest in actual relationships and only cares about his games. And his life completely flips when a demon girl shows up and forces him into a contract where he now has to make real girls fall in love with him in order to capture runaway spirits hiding inside their hearts. These spirits can only be forced out when the girl experiences real love. So now he has to use everything he learned from the games in real life situations, which turns out to be way more complicated and unpredictable. And throughout the series, each arc focuses on a different girl with her own personalities, insecurities, and problems and stuff like that. And as the series goes on, the stakes get higher and the story introduces more serious conflicts beyond just individual relationships. So this anime does, I'm pretty sure, technically has like that harem tag in it. And I've said this before, I'm not a fan of harem anime at all. But this was one of the first ones that I watched a while back ago that, I did feel like the plot really had something to it. And it wasn't like just a whole bunch of girls just, on him or something like that. No, it kind of had it more structured, I would say. And also, I do feel like there are other animes that kind of copied from this whole concept. What's that one anime, The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, Really, Really Love You? This has a really similar concept to that, now that I think about it, but this was released a lot earlier than that. And when I did watch it back then, I did actually pretty much did enjoy the concept. I did think it was really funny. Like, it was one of those underrated funny animes. But yeah, so pretty much I would recommend this series. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Lights are lit and they're sweet on